All right, here with another episode of Fun Football Podcast, our first one post Super Bowl, and we decided to pivot a little bit. We've done a couple of these with Mike, and we've got a really special episode for you guys. My name's Isaac with Fun Football Podcast, Med also with Fun Football Podcast, but his new show Nerdcadia is here. Med, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing outstanding. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound
I have
good.
the camera set up in a different spot. Okay, cool.
No, you're doing good.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
No, good. No, good. You're good. Sorry.
I was going to say I've just been like painting the house and trying to get my CPAP and everything. It's been a busy life. Definitely a busy life. This is a great distraction right here.
I noticed you didn't paint any green and yellow in your room, though. What's up with that? That's disappointing.
Oh man, I also noticed that you haven't wore that Bears jersey yet. So.
You're right. I forgot, dude.
Oh, you're just racking up. How many episodes is it going to be now?
I'll probably just wear it for like a month, honestly.
You might as well.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
We have a side bet, Mike, that if our teams are playing against each other, the loser has to wear the other guy's jersey. So.
Yeah, and then the Packers let me down twice, so that was lovely. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Anyways, we also got Mike Essen here, and we're gonna be doing our top 10 running backs in NFL history. Mike, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be on your show again. Thank you so much, Isaac and Med.
No problem.
I'm happy you came back, man. Okay, so before we get going, Med, really quick, we've been hyping this up. Nerdcadia is coming very, very soon. What is the first episode, sir?
Well, I plan on hopefully launching it on March 7th. We were going to be doing some pre-recordings at first. We're going to be doing WTF, weird games that are out there right at this moment. We got some games like an unemployment simulator is one of the ones that we found. So you get to basically be a bum and walk around your apartment and try not to die from boredom. So we will be doing that. And what's up, Sam? And
I love that Sam's watching.
Yep, Sam's watching.
We got to get you back on soon, Sam.
Yes, we do. And, we're going to be talking about doing a movie review with the Wrecking Crew. And after that, we'll see where it goes. But right now, we're kind of excited about it. I got a good co-host, Goose, that's going to be with me. And he's just as nerdy as I can be sometimes. So I'm looking forward to this.
Heck yeah, man. Mike, do you have anything coming up podcast-wise soon? Or you've actually been
Not
on
currently,
no. You've been on some shows recently, though, right?
Yes, I was on. Though it's not uploaded yet, I was on Universe Galaxy NBA debating the Michael Jordan's the NBA GOAT, and that's going to be up anytime soon.
I love it. Awesome, man. Okay, so we are going to get this. I'm really excited for this episode. We're going to give you guys our top 10 running backs and why. But before we do that, were there any current running backs playing right now that did not make your list that you think, honestly, like you could just see the guy potential-wise, production-wise, you could see him getting there if he lasts long enough in his career, a la maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, maybe Derrick Henry if he didn't make it, Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of talented running backs in the NFL right now. Maybe an Ashton Jeanty if you think he's going to get it together with the Raiders. Omarion Hampton, somebody about to get drafted. Is there anybody currently in the NFL or that's about to get drafted that you could see making your list? I'll go last. Mike, do you have anybody that you could see in the future? We revise this in a few years, and they got to make your list. Who do you got?
You mentioned one, Saquon Barkley. He's not only a great runner, but an all-around talent with pass catching and blocking. And Jonathan Taylor. He already is a superstar. He will be. All he needs is a slightly better team, a quarterback to back him up. He could be. I think he will be on my top 10 list one day.
I like it, man. Matt, who do you got?
I like both of those, actually. Jonathan Taylor is definitely, if injuries do not derail him, I mean, pretty much he's all they can have in Indianapolis. I love Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson, but one name that I did not hear was Christian McCaffrey. And this is a guy that was supposed, in my opinion, win the MVP last year, but we all know that it's a quarterback-friendly award nowadays. So, but Christian McCaffrey, he's just been amazing. It's good to see that Roger Craig made the Hall of Fame finally as the original member of the 2,000 yardage club in a season. So hats out off to him. But Christian McCaffrey's done it twice. I think maybe 3 times. So I could see him definitely making it to that point at one point in his career.
You know what's funny is the only thing with him is it's injuries too, just like Jonathan Taylor. Injuries are going to matter for all of these guys, but if Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, I like it. I think Omarion Hampton, if he plays long enough with Harbaugh, could be special, but that's a young guy. Derrick Henry did make my list. I love Saquon Barkley, McCaffrey, Taylor. Those are some great names. But Bijan Robinson and Gibbs are the 2 younger guys that I'm keeping an eye on. Gibbs has got some freaking talent, man. And it's funny, Peter says this isn't a quarter. If it was quarterbacks, all the other teams in the division would be in shame, but it's the running back list. So the Lions, the Bears, the Vikings.
Oh my.
He's right on this one. It's not a quarterback one, unfortunately. Quarterback one, we put everybody else to shame.
Love that, Peter.
Very nicely. But yeah, you're right, bud. I honestly couldn't even put a Packer up here either. Love Damon Green, love Jim Taylor, love me some Dorsey Levens, but they nowhere near my top 10. I was not biased. So, all right. Guys, ready to do this?
Let's do this.
I'm excited. All right, Mike, you're the guest of honor. Let's rotate. Let's do our honorable mentions first. Med, if you have any, I know I'm throwing that curve at you. We gave like 4 or 5.
Yeah, Mike, there's a couple that are honorable mentions for me. I mean, Gale Sayers, of course, is one. I know that Peter probably just had his heart broken when I said that. I mean, 5 years in the NFL and made the Hall of Fame. That speaks volumes of what kind of a talent he was. And he also scored in one time 6 touchdowns in one game. Just a phenomenal athlete. I mentioned him earlier. Roger Craig could possibly have been on here, but he was more of a systems running back, and I'm still ecstatic that he got the Hall of Fame. Gotta love the catfish. And, I would even say a Packer, Jim Taylor. I mean, he should have probably been in some people's list, but and Red Grange. I mean, the guy that saved football. So there's still quite a few names that I could throw back from way back in the day, but, those are 4 that come to mind right off the top of my head.
Larry Zonka came to mind, and he didn't even – I had 5 names, and he didn't even make it. I actually did not put Frank Gore on my top 10. I loved him. I thought he was excellent. He longevity-wise was great, but I was thinking apex, best seasons, team success, and I just couldn't quite get there with Frank Gore. He was the first name off my list. Tony Dorsett didn't make my list either, as amazing as he was, and that wasn't cowboy homerism. There's a cowboy on there. Marcus Allen was phenomenal. Didn't make my list. Jerome Bettis was one of my personal favorites, the bus. I loved him. And Franco Harris, 2 Steelers, I left them off. It was really difficult, but they did not make my top 10. I couldn't just go off of like rushing yards, but I just couldn't get there with those guys, and they were amazing players. Mike, who didn't make your top 5?
This is very hard, but the only reason why Marshall Faulk is an honorable mention is I like 10 players better. He was incredible. Earl Campbell who was my favorite player as a kid, had an incredible few seasons. He wasn't used very well, but injuries banged him up. Tony Dorsett was an honorable mention for me too. The 4.3 average, the 1981 season, that 99-yard run. He was consistently great. He played well for Denver, people have to realize. And the 2 best pure fullbacks, a Bear, Bronco Nagurski, a 4.4 average. And Larry Zonka, he had a stiff arm once. They called it unnecessary roughness. He had a lot to do with the success of those 2 Super Bowls, including the undefeated team. Those are my 5 honorable mentions.
And with Bronco, you went back to the 1920s. I do like that. And I mean, of course, he played defensive tackle as well. So he was one of the Iron Men of football back in the day. So that is a strong pick right there. And also another superstar from back in the day. I love that.
What was your first name, Mike? Did you say Marshall Faulk?
Yes. I just like 10 players better. I don't know how I couldn't put that.
Frank Gore is actually not on my list either.
I included receiving. I included total production, and Marshall Faulk made it because of the receiving. If we were just going pure rushers, if we had talked about that part a little bit more, I'm with you guys. But when I included the receiving, it was kind of like the Christian McCaffrey thing. It adds so much juice to his resume. Same with LaDainian Tomlinson, but Marshall Faulk especially. I included everything I saw from the guy. So
he was 11, so I can't really argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. Faulk it was tough for me, honestly. I almost Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Barry Sanders LT. I like it. Okay, number 10. We're gonna go from 10 on up. If you're watching in the comments, leave your 10th best running back, or if you just want to drop anybody on your list, that's cool. I'll go last here. Mike, who is your number 10 running back in NFL history?
Eric Dickerson.
Great.
The first few seasons of his career, and if he could have been at a peak as good as anybody. He had 1,800 yards in his rookie season, maybe the best rookie season ever. In 1984, he had 2,000 yards in 15, not 16 games, because he got in the 15th game. He had 1,800 2 years later. He had a 248-yard playoff game against the Giants in 85. The reason why he said he had a 4.4 lifetime average. The reason why he didn't continue to be as great as his love for the game slacked off. But when he was in high production, he also had some really good years for the Colts. I think he deserves a spot in this list at number 10.
Good answer, man. He's actually even higher on my list. I maybe put him a little bit too high, but peak wise, I've watched enough highlights on Eric Dickerson. I've read about him, and I mean, he still has a gif from the 80s about real football, and he's just running through people. And he kind of MJ'd it. His rookie season was pretty spectacular. Peter dropped his list. I'll put up in a second. Med, who is your number 10?
My number 10 is actually Adrian Peterson. And there's a major reason why is because you look at his production at the first half of his career. Now, this man played 17 years, so that's nothing to balk at. But if you really do the math, there's only been 8 times where he broke 1,000 yards. And yes, he is the last non-quarterback to ever win the MVP award in the NFL for the regular season with his 2007 97-yard season back in 2012. But I mean, he was a centerpiece, but over time, I mean, him running the ball as much as he did, as many times as he touched the ball, I mean, he set the rookie record against my Chicago Bears with most yards in a game. I'm not sure if it's been broken since, but hopefully it was, because that's not a record I want us to have. But, I mean, this guy, he was a guy that struck fear into your team. Like, you're like, that's a business decision. I got to go tackle that. 6-7 times in the game. Yeah, that's going to hurt. And I mean, the dude was phenomenal athlete. Definitely should be in the Hall of Fame whenever his time comes up. But he is number 10 in running backs to me in the NFL history.
There was a little bit of Frank Gordon-ness here, even though he had a few really great seasons. There was a lot that were not as special. There were some injuries early on, and injuries once he hit his 30s. And yeah, I mean, he's still, the fact that he got 1,000 yards with Washington at age 33 is pretty impressive. And he almost did it again the following season. Not a lot of guys have done that, but there were some injuries and some other stuff that impacted him. And some years the Minnesota teams he was on were kind of straight garbage, to be honest with you. Some of them were pretty special. He almost led that team, if Brett Favre had decided to throw a pick, almost led him to a Super Bowl, probably victory. That team was stacked. My number 10 is Derrick Henry. I couldn't leave him off. This guy is already 10th all-time in rushing yards. And you know what's funny is everybody thought he dropped off last season. And he turned to 32. And he just had like 1,600 yards last year. If you take out his first 2 seasons and that 1 year where he got hurt and only played 8 games, and that year he almost eclipsed 1,000 yards. He has had 1,000 yards in 7 of the last 8 seasons. You take out the first 2 when he was a part-timer, and then they figured out this guy is special. And he has been nothing but since like that 3rd year, he was still kind of a part-timer, only had 215 carries. He has averaged at least 4.2, most of the seasons 4.9 or higher. It's just been one of the best peaks, and it's still going. And I don't know, unless the Ravens just screw up. Hey, Dad. Dad's watching. Unless the Ravens just totally screw this up with the new coach, I think he's got maybe a couple more years left. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. He still has the juice. He's got one of the best combinations of speed and power I've ever seen. And if he plays a few more years, I think he's going to climb pretty high in people's lists, especially if he gets a ring. I don't think he's going to, but He's one of my favorite players ever. I love his stiff arm. It's awesome. Before we keep going, I'm gonna be nice. I want you guys to see Peter's list here. This is a pretty good list. He's got Sweetness #1, which I knew he would. Barry 2, LT 3, Jim Brown 4, McCaffrey, which is funny. I didn't even think about McCaffrey yet. 5, Riggins, who I love that name. Falk 7, Bettis 8, Campbell, and then Frank Gore. That's a very solid list. I like.
He's got some bruisers right there. That's
I like
for sure.
the power. That's a power list. Good stuff. All right, guys. We're on our number 9. This one was kind of tough for me, honestly. Med, who was your 9th best running back?
My 9th best is actually Marshall Falk, and there's a huge reason why is because when he was he was already great when he was with Indianapolis. I mean, he had 1,800 yards his rookie year from scrimmage, and every time he touched it, it was almost 5 yards per carry. But he really exploded, and a lot of people don't realize how much he exploded when he went to St. Louis, because the first 4 years he was there, he had over 2,000 yards in scrimmage each year. So, and he ended up totaling where he was just shy of 20,000 yards. So, I mean, extremely impressive, young man. And this was a guy that also had Steven Jackson drafted with him when he still had about 3 more years in his career. So he had carries getting taken away from him then. And I mean, when he was younger, he was amazing. He could either run through you, he could run around you, or he could he could catch out the bat. He was everything. And when he got traded from Indianapolis, and of course they got Edgerrin James that from basically opening up that hole, St. Louis just got a deal. And, they didn't really give up much to really acquire him. A lot of people felt that he was washed up going out of Indianapolis, which is kind of crazy if you really think it is when they have
right.
Fight. But yeah,
washed
he just
up at age 25.
Yeah. It's, and a lot of people feel that now. I mean, look what they're saying about Derrick Henry. So, I mean, it's
wild. Derrick Henry in a down year had 1,600 rushing yards.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, come on. This is ridiculous.
But, no, Marshall Falk is my number 9.
Good pick, dude. He's even higher on mine. I love it. Marshall Falk's one of my favorite players. Mike, who is your number 9 running back, man? Good stuff.
He's lower than most people. He's lower than anybody almost will have him, but Emmitt Smith, and I'll explain why to you.
I like that. Actually,
no, it's okay.
I almost skipped him. He has more touchdowns than anybody. He had a 4.2 average, and he has the rings. But he also, not only did he have arguably the best line in football, but he did not play with that incredible offensive line. He didn't average 4 yards a carry. I'm not taking away everything he accomplished, but I think if he played for a mediocre line like he did his whole career, he wouldn't be on the list and he'd be much more struggling. But the touchdowns alone and the 18,000 plus yards put him number 9 on my list.
Yeah, and it was and he had 175 total TDs, over 20,000 all-purpose yards, but he almost dropped out of my top 5, so I get it. I went Curtis Martin here. This guy was special, and honestly, he kept going. He started with the Patriots early in his career, and he continued to blossom late in his career. I wish he'd had a couple seasons like the apex a little higher, but longevity-wise, what he did, it was at 6, 7, 8, 9, first 10 seasons, 10 out of 11 years, he had over 1,000 rushing yards. That's just special. I know he only had 90 touchdowns total. But he ended up with over 17,000 total all-purpose yards, over 14,000 rushing. Average was only 4 yards per carry. But we got to be honest here. A lot of those Jets teams he was on, the Patriots were good. A lot of the Jets teams he was on were not that great.
Never had a quarterback.
Never had a QB. And a few of those years, you could tell they dogpiled on him because his average is 3.5. And a peak Curtis Martin should be averaging at least 4.5. No QB. Yeah, Martin made my list just because I feel like he ran into a brick wall most of the time. And he was talented enough to occasionally bust one loose. I think this guy, if he'd had just an average quarterback, we would have seen a few thousand more yards minimum. No joke. I think he would have been pushing he's 6th right now. I think he would have been the top 3. No joke. Just give him a decent quarterback. And you can make that argument for a lot of these guys, but I feel like he was really, that was one of the biggest things he was subjected to, but he was still one of my favorite players. I was just impressed that he continued to do it year after year. So that's why Curtis Martin made my number 9 overall. All right, let's go. Yeah, I don't know if he was on your all's list or not, but let's go to 8. All right, Mike, who was your number 8 running back ever?
Marion Motley, one of the pioneers of football, and I would have him higher except for one aspect. First of all, he averaged 5.7 yards a carry. That's unthinkable, and was a great blocker. He's not higher because he had a third of the carries everybody else we're talking about had because of the way the game was structured back then. So I don't feel comfortable ranking him at the top echelon, but he was a beast. Otto Graham thought he was the best running back he ever played with, and I don't think he gets enough attention. He also, this doesn't make him a better or worse player, but just for trivia, he, like Jackie Robinson, integrated the NFL. So he had a great historic impact. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the history of the game. He's up there with Andre Tippett and Mark Bavaro in that sense.
Good stuff, man.
And like what you were saying, he integrated the NFL, and at the time, it was very similar to what Jackie Robinson was going through with the MLB. There were some fouls that were getting done to him that they weren't calling.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's a phenomenal pick. A lot of people don't really, unfortunately, I love when Mike's on here, people like Mike, because the younger generation and stuff get to learn about players of yesteryear as opposed to yesterday. And when you hear people like Marion Motley, Earl Campbell, Bronco Narginski, I mean, those are names that, helped build this foundation on this sport that we love nowadays. So, kudos to you on having Marion on there, boss.
Appreciate that.
Like that. Seriously. Mike, Med, who's your number 8 running back?
You ready for a surprise?
Yeah, I want to see this one.
It's LaDainian Tomlinson.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's a little bit lower than what probably most people would actually have, but it's also because you look at what kind of teams he had. They were Cinderesque on him during his height of his career. But, I mean, when you hear some of the other names that I'm going to be calling later on down this line, you may be able to see it. When he was drafted, they basically Butler said that when he was with the Bills, he drafted Thurman Thomas, and he said there was one player that reminded him of Thurman Thomas in the draft. He got him with the 6th pick. It was LT. Now, LT was a constant, great running back. He, of course, could run out the backfield, but he was an exceptional receiver out the backfield. He had also 3 seasons where he had over 2,000 yards. He made the signature teardrop celebration, kind of like a household. Everyone was doing it in the Sandlot whenever they were playing tackle football, and he had 31 touchdowns. I think he still might have that record. I might be wrong on that, but at one point, 31 touchdowns in the season, that's nothing to balk at. And he was the face of the Chargers for a long period of time, and unfortunately, he kept running into the Patriots, especially that one year where they went 14-2 and they lost 21-14 in Calcom Park. So, unfortunately, he never retired with a ring, but definitely one of the best players I ever saw.
Thanks for watching, bud. Matt Forte was fun. Tomlinson's higher on my list, but I just loved watching him play. But you're right, you're into the Patriots, and that Chargers team, as low as they were, Schottenheimer just wasn't the right coach. But my number 8 ever is Adrian Peterson. Have him. I just thought it was the right spot-ish. The fact that he was able to put up that MVP season that was just ridiculous, man. That was such a special year. He also had he had a great season when they had Favre too. Started his career like gangbusters. Had some injuries early on that kind of derailed him. I think he would have had that 1,000-yard stretch that would have been even better, but he tore his ACL, came off it, had almost 1,500 yards. He had 2 or 3 really amazing seasons, but he had a bunch over 1,400 yards. Ended up almost getting to 15,000 which is damn impressive. Should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Surprised he didn't 120 TDs. I'm surprised he didn't get even more, but this guy was pure runner, one of the most talented I've ever seen, and just kind of got derailed by bad quarterback play. I think he could have had even a better career. Teams were stacking the box. They knew, like the Packers, Med knows, the Packers, the Bears, they were stacking the box to stop Adrian Peterson. And sometimes it didn't matter. He was just going to get his because he was that good. So Adrian Peterson's my number 8. So number 7, I'm going to drop mine really quick. Marshall Faulk, because of the receiving and because he was the engine of a Super Bowl winning team, I give a lot of stock to that. Derrick Henry hasn't done that. Curtis Martin wasn't able to do it. Peterson wasn't quite able to do it. But Faulk, even though they had Kurt Warner, Faulk still made those teams even more special. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. Bronco, I like this. My dad there. Thanks, Moses. Appreciate it. Mike knows what he's talking about. Very smart guy. I agree. Mike's on it. But yeah, Marshall Faulk, because the receiving, man, this guy was just ridiculous. He was 13th just pure rushing. When you add the receiving, he was one of the most dynamic running backs in NFL history. Way ahead of his time. Had 2 seasons in a row over 900 receiving yards. When you add the receiving in, it was ridiculous. And I took the whole player. I didn't know if that's what we were supposed to do here, but this guy was just ridiculous. MVP, got a ring. He's my number 7. Med, who you got?
My number 7 is Eric Dickerson. And I mean, in fact, I believe Mike talked about him a little bit earlier. When this dude ran, he made it look too easy, and I think that's what a lot of people have against him. His first couple seasons, I mean, he was pretty much unstoppable in Indianapolis, but the only problem with him is he also had a mouth. And he got in a lot of heat with, of course, owners and stuff like that. And he kind of the only person that really stopped Eric Dickerson was Eric Dickerson. And, I mean, it was just unreal with it. Dude had he had almost 1,300 yards, but his last 4 seasons, he was hardly ever used because, well, he ran his mouth. And once you run your mouth too many times, the owners are going to be like, you know what? We're good. But whenever he ran, it literally looked like he was gliding. And he just made everything look so effortless. It was beautiful. It was like watching a deer run across the meadow.
I love that. That's what I loved about Tomlinson, but Peterson had a little bit of that. They're just some of these running backs had such a unique running style in the open field and the way they can make guys miss or run over them. I love it. Mike, who's good stuff, Med. Mike, who is your number 7?
LaDainian Tomlinson. I think the thing people have to see about him is the Ryan Leaf days, which I'm sure all Charger fans would love to forget.
Yeah,
it was not just Phillip Rivers, but it was mostly LT who turned that team around. In 2006, as Med said, he had 31 touchdowns, 28 rushing, 3 receiving. He's a touchdown machine. He was consistent. He was a great, excellent receiver. He's only 7th because I have 6 I like better, but I'm taking nothing away from this man. He was amazing.
I get it. He's a little higher on my list, but I understand why both of you guys have him there. He didn't get a ring, and that was something huge for me with the Marshall Faulk thing. You know what's funny is I went even higher with Eric Dickerson at number 6, just because the way he started his career, man, this guy was ahead of his time. How do you get, like Mike said it earlier, how do you get 2,000 rushing yards in 1984 with the Rams in basically 15 games? That's after starting his career with 1,800. So, he had the best rookie season, I think, ever with over 2,200 all-purpose yards and 20 touchdowns. That's just ridiculous. Then he misses a little bit of time. The 3rd season still has 1,200 yards. Then he bounces back with another 1,800 yards. Then he gets traded, gets another over 1,000 yards. Started his career with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight 1,000+ yard seasons. Once we cracked into the 90s, he was past his prime. But in the early to late 80s, through the mid 80s, this guy was ridiculous. Just such a fun runner. I feel like talent-wise, he was just special. Hey, Janae. So I got him at number 6. Med, who's your number 6 running back ever?
It is Curtis Martin, but real quick, I mean, maybe Mike might remember this, but was Eric Dickerson one of the last running backs to leave SMU after before they got hit with the death penalty?
Yes, he and Craig James were the backfields.
Okay,
Ooh,
that makes a lot of sense right there. So yeah, I was sitting there, I was like, I wonder if he was the backfield tandem. Awesome. My number 6 is Curtis Martin. You had him a little bit lower. I had him a lot higher. And
he was awesome.
Why is, I mean, he was just a really good running back and I always liked his style. I mean, he is the oldest rushing champion, ladies and gentlemen, I believe at 32. And, that's just me going off of memory. I'm not even really looking at my notes right now, but, kind of like what Isaac said earlier, you look at what he was able to accomplish. This was a guy who had Wayne Quebec as like the other offensive weapon on that team at one point. And it's just, it's comical how bad some of those New York Jets teams were. And he was it. And, whenever teams loaded up, he kept running into the Patriots. He was a nightmare. In fact, he played with the Patriots at first, and he was a big reason why they made it to the Super Bowl. With Drew Bledsoe, when a certain yellow and green team won a Super Bowl with the biggest, person that likes to steal funds from people in Mississippi was their quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of our two,
can't really help it as quarterbacks.
One of our two. That team was too stacked. They were. They were.
Well,
they were that 96 team was just ridiculous. Like we should have gotten 2, but that team was just like, come on. Like the Cowboys could have been good. I think we would have had them anyways. That team was just stupid. The 96 Packers. I think they get overlooked as one of the best teams ever because they didn't dominate the Super Bowl. But when was the last time a team was number 1 on defense? Yeah, we won by 2 touchdowns. It wasn't like the SmackDown we just watched, but it was.
And I don't think,
Yeah,
but Curtis Martin, he doesn't really get much love because he was only voted onto the All-Pro team 3 times out of his 10 years, and
which is kind of wild.
Yeah,
because
when you really look at. And a lot of people say, stats on stats and everything like that. He's got stats. I mean, he did reasonably well. I mean, he's 6th all-time on the all-time rushing list right now. And, it's Curtis Martin. I mean, it was a real deal.
He also, he was 31, Med, and that was his best season. At 31, he was just shy of 1,700 rushing yards. That was his most productive season at the tail end of his career. Isn't that crazy?
He won it by 1 yard too.
Yeah. And he averaged 4.6 as his best average, his most carries, his most yards. It wasn't his most receiving yards, but when you add it all together, that was his best year.
Following year, 735. So
yeah, and then he just
other time got him.
It's crazy how fast that clip comes in the NFL. It's just like running back is such a athletic position. You get an injury or something, you take a beating, you're just done. Okay, where were we at? We're at
6.
We're at 6. Mike, who's your number 6?
Adrian Peterson. I'll tell you why.
Good.
It's not just a 2012, 2,097 yard season. Okay. This man started out like a beast. Still, he tore his ACL, but all that considered, he has a lifetime average of 4.6 yards a carry, which is one of the best you'll ever find. He got suspended for 1 season, also for controversial issues. And he still did well with Washington, but when he was at his peak, watch out. I mean, I remember Reggie Bush, who was a bust, got a lot of the attention then, and people who were Oklahoma fans were so happy that Adrian Peterson really showed that he was a talent. I think he was amazing. He had one of the best seasons, one of the best careers ever.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah,
I like it.
And if a man wants to spank his kid, let him spank his kid with a tree if he wants to.
Apparently, or whip, whatever it was, a tree branch. What was it?
It was a switch.
A switch.
It was switch. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
man, I used to get for those all the time.
So my 10 through 6 were Henry, Derrick Henry, Curtis Martin, Adrian Peterson, Marshall Faulk, and Eric Dickerson. Med, who was your 6 through 10, really quick recap.
10 was Adrian Peterson, 9 was Marshall Faulk, the 8 was LaDainian Tomlinson, 7 was Eric Dickerson, and 6 was Curtis Martin.
And Mike, who was yours?
10th was Eric Dickerson, 9th was Emmitt Smith, 8th was Marion Motley, 7th was LaDainian Tomlinson, 6th is Adrian Peterson.
And I thought my 5 was going to be low for Emmitt Smith, but he's higher than you guys. But I had to at number 5 for Emmitt Smith because of the longevity and the fact that he was the workhorse for 3 Super Bowls. He was really – Michael Irvin was special, but he was the driving force of the offense even more than Marshall Faulk was with the Rams. It really was like by land or by air, but it started by land, like if you've seen that Cowboys documentary. And you saw even with Jimmy Johnson when Emmitt Smith sat those 2 games, the difference. Now, Mike made a good point. Offensive line matters. I completely agree. And there were things that boosted this guy. But I think when you take the overall production, I couldn't leave him out of my top 5. Even though I hate the damn Cowboys, I had to give it to him. So Emmitt Smith makes it at me at 5. Barely. It was close. Mike, who's your number 5?
He's still playing, Derrick Henry.
Yeah!
I love this.
All right. I love it.
I mean, this guy consistently performs with yards per carry averages of 5.2, 4.8, 5. He has a 4. He's playing as long as 2 players who were higher on my list. He's played 10 years. He has a 4.9 yards per carry average. He's in the top 10 all time in rushing, and he had a 2,000-yard season. He just keeps going. I don't see why he shouldn't be that high. I think he's amazing. I love this kid.
Dude, if the Ravens could just get their crap together, if we can soapbox for a second, if Lamar Jackson especially, but if they could figure out this franchise that they just always have holes, if they could figure out and get this guy a ring, he deserves it. It would just be perfect for this guy's legacy. He deserves that ring. I hope he can get it. Tennessee never had the team. Ryan Tannehill is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Sam. I just hope he can get there. And I feel like if he can last a few more years, maybe he gets a shot at it. But Med, who's your number 5, man? I'm excited for this one.
It is also Derrick Henry.
All right. I thought I was going high at 10. I was like, they're going to judge me. And then you both all had him at 5. And I love it because I think talent-wise he's higher than what I am.
Oh, dude. So. I mean, he is basically an offensive lineman back there. Whenever you sit there, like one of my favorite memes is like there's this average dude who is probably about 6 foot, 210 pounds, staring off to the side, and he's looking up at Derrick Henry, who looks like Optimus Prime, if I would say so myself. But like Mike nailed it earlier, this dude ran for 2,000 yards. He actually could have had 2 2,000 yards, possibly even 3 2,000-yard seasons. One being the 2021 where he got hurt after 8 games. He had 937 yards at that, and he was starting to get it going at that point because Derrick Henry, it's not how he starts, it's how he finishes. And it takes a minute for him to get that speed up. You watch him when he runs, it's a slow run. And then as soon as he hits that hole, boom, gone. He gets the Reggie Bush speed, I guess is a good way to put it, Alvin Kamara, or someone that can actually pull away. And when you have someone that's 250, 260 pounds running the ball like he does, angry, which I love, you don't want to hit him. Yeah, I mean, you're going to give yourself concussions. You're going to forget the hit that you made. And you said it earlier. You look at his stiff arms. I mean, the one that he did to that poor guy that played for the Bills. I'm trying to remember his name. He played for the Panthers too. Josh Norman, where he basically projected his soul out of his body when he was shoving his face all the way. The Jacksonville Jaguars were just excited that they got him out of their division.
And he takes care of his body. So this could be like a situation where he lasts a few more years, a la LeBron James in the NBA, because he takes care of his body. He's only 32, but the way he lifts, if he can avoid injury, I say he's got 3 more years, maybe at least 2 more.
Yeah, no, maybe he's in that TB12 program. Maybe he's eating the avocado ice cream and some toast.
That avocado. Look at that avocado.
He's got them superfoods.
You know, that's what I need to go do. I need to eat that avocado after I lift instead of a protein shake.
I mean,
I guess you got to do that.
So, I'd body by bakery. I mean, it's just
Body by cookies.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, Derrick Henry, I think, is going to probably go down as probably the third or fourth best person that I watched play in my lifetime.
I like that. Okay, I got a fun debate, Mike. I'm going to throw a curve. Would you rather try to tackle Derrick Henry or get tackled by Lawrence Taylor?
I'd say tackle Derrick Henry, but I'm glad I hate if I was, especially Joe Theismann, I think would agree with that statement too.
That's a tough one though, because Derrick Henry, I don't think I'd want to try to tackle that guy.
I wouldn't either.
I think your soul is leaving your body on either one.
I agree with you.
That's why you ask for the stiff arm. You're like, don't hit me with your body, just push me out the way.
When he gives you the stiff arm, you levitate. I've gone first in the last few. I was trying to mix it up. Med, I think you are up for this one. Number 4. Who's your fourth best?
And number 4, that would be your all-time rushing champion, Emmitt Smith. And I mean, he would be higher if he actually would not have been behind that line. But I mean, he's good. I mean, well, he's not as good as 3 other people, but he's good enough to make 4 on my list. And this is the reason why. You look at the line, you look at what he was able to do. There was times where he didn't even get touched when he was 10 yards down the field. It was frustrating because no one liked the Cowboys back then, and the fans loved it who were Cowboy fans. And I mean, you know, he was really good. 4-time All-Pro, 2-time NFL. Well, no, I'm wrong. He was an MVP 1 time, but 3-time champion. Big reason why they won that.
He could have been more. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would have okay. So if he didn't have Aikman, that line, or he would not have any Super Bowls. And you saw what happened towards the end of his tenure at the Cowboys. It wasn't age it might have been wear and tear because he was running a lot, but he just wasn't getting hit. And it's different when you're getting hit by a defensive tackle than it is a safety. And I think he's one of 2 players that over 20,000 scrimmage yards. So the other one, of course, being Jerry Rice. So Emmitt Smith is firmly placed on number 4. I know a lot of people are like, Reg is probably like, if he heard that, he's cussing. So
Twitter's goofed. I'm going to post the link on. We would normally have more, but there's an error with StreamYard and Twitter, so that's why he's not in the comments. Otherwise, he would have been.
Weenie.
Yeah, I'm going to post on Twitter after this, but it's on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. I started a Twitch, Med, and Kick.
We're twitching.
Yeah, we're twitching. Mike, my number 4 is one of my favorite players. Who's your number 4, though? I'm going to go last.
The most controversial pick on the show, O.J. Simpson. I want to explain why. Despite his off the field answer.
I get it. He was special. He was.
Yes. Despite his trial, before the trial, most people would have had him this high, and I'm not excusing any conduct that was done, but on the field, I can't discount his accomplishments. In 73, he had 2,014-game season, 2,003 yards with a 6 yards per carry average. He had over 1,875. He started his career a little slow, which is why I can't rank him too much, why I think the street people better. And he had a 4.7 lifetime average. He had a 2 Thanksgiving game with 273 yards, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But injuries did plague him a little, and he had a slow start. But when he was hot, he was smoking hot, and I have to put him as high as 4th. I can't discount the best running back in the 70s because of the murder trial.
That's fair. He was like Eric Dickerson. He had a pretty special peak. The only reason he didn't make my list is he only had 5 seasons, and it was a little Marcus Allen like, where it wasn't long enough of a peak for me. It was 5 special years, and yeah, I just couldn't quite get there. That was why. But I mean, his peak was pretty awesome. He was pretty dominant. My number 4 is one of my favorite players ever, and I know he didn't get that ring. But LaDainian Tomlinson, man, some of the stuff he did, some of the records this guy set, most consecutive games with a touchdown, most touchdowns from scrimmage in the season still holds at 31, 28 TDs in a season. His running style was so unique. It was like Walter Payton, post Walter Payton, it was just that Gallup was something special. Some of his seasons were just ridiculous, averaging over 5 yards a carry. And he started, it was like Curtis Martin, like he started first 9 seasons over 1,000 yards. If he just lasted a little longer, but man, this guy's still getting over 140 rushing TDs and having 100 receptions in a season. So he was a dual threat. I love it. The guy had over 18,000 total total scrimmage yards, over 160 touchdowns, but just such a dominant player. I had to put him above Emmitt Smith. I feel like talent-wise, he was out of Emmitt Smith's league. So made my number 4. All right, top 3 time. Mad,
real quick, Mike, do you remember what they used to call the offensive line during the O.J. Simpson days?
The Electric Company.
And why is that?
Based on the TV show, because it was Reggie McKenzie and Joe DeLamore, if I said his name right, because it was based on the TV show, which was popular on PBS.
Very true, and it was also because they would turn on the juice.
I love it.
I love it. All right, guys, I'll go last on these top 3s. Med, you want to start this one, and then Mike, you start the next 2. Okay. Med, what you got?
Arguably, he is the greatest Bear of all time. I am going with Sweetness, which, a lot of people, when they see what is behind me, they're like, is this dude blasphemous? I mean, this is one of those things where, he's going to be in the top 3. He could be your number 1. The next 3 guys, you can see them, and you can stack them any way you want. But Walter Payton, he was something special. And, of course, he's the heart and soul of the Chicago Bears. Just about every Bears fan is going to have a jersey, a signed picture, or some kind of memorabilia that has this man on here. And there's a reason why there's an award awarded named after him for the greatest humanitarian in the NFL for every year, and why they display a patch on every single one of their jerseys. Yardage-wise, he was the heart and soul. He was the heart and soul for the Bears for all 13 years that he was here. He, of course, established the record that Emmitt Smith would later break, but still, 110 rushing touchdowns in a league where, at the time, where they knew what you're doing, three runs, cloud of dust type stuff. But as great as he was, Walter Payton is my number 3.
I'm surprised he wasn't in your top 2. He's in mine. I'm surprised, man.
There's a reason why he's number 3. We'll get.
I get it. Mike, who's your number 3, man?
Walter Payton as well. Walter Payton is not just in it for his running, though. He's not just in it for his running, which is great enough. If he didn't have a couple off seasons like in '81 where he had like a 3.6 average, he would have been even higher in the rushing list. But he was one of the best blocking backs ever.
Yes, he was.
One of the best. He had so many receptions. He threw 9 touchdowns. And the most remarkable thing about Payton was his 77 season where he was chasing O.J. Simpson's record with 1,854 yards, including 275 yards when he had the flu. He was so complete that they used him as a clutch player when his team really needed him. And even though I think Derrick Henry and O.J. and Adrian Peterson were better pure runners, they were not as complete as him, which is why I rank him as high as 3rd.
I love that he was still really dominant when that team won the Super Bowl. The only sad thing is he didn't get a touchdown in the playoffs that year, but he was still ran for over 1,500 rushing yards. He was still near his apex. Mine is actually Jim Brown. I went Jim Brown at number 3 here. The dude was just ridiculous. Like, how do you do what he did in the 50s and 60s? And he was the last time the Browns were actually good and won a championship. Like, 3-time MVP, won a championship with the Browns, which not a lot of other people inside of Cleveland, outside of LeBron James, can say. And he had to leave Cleveland and go back. And that's in basketball. His last time the Browns were good in football. This guy, except for that 1 year where he missed it by 4 yards, in his rookie year. He had over 1,000 yards 8 out of 10 times. The other 2 he missed it by less. He was in the 900s. He averaged over 6 yards a carry a season, which at almost 300 carries is almost unheard of. I know the talent level wasn't quite what it is now in the 50s and 60s, but that's still pretty absurd. He averaged 133 yards per game. Wow. Not only 9 seasons to get over 12,000 rushing yards in just 9 seasons. That's some excellence. So he made number 3 for me. Pitch grid. Peyton's next on my list. He's coming up in a minute, but yeah, Jim Brown was awesome. So he made my number 3. I almost put him higher. I couldn't quite do it, but that's where he's at. So, all right, top 2. I'm excited. I feel like this has got to be the 2 guys I'm thinking of here. Mike, who's your number 2, man?
Barry Sanders.
Okay.
Now, not only did he have 5 yards a carry in his life, he averaged about 100 yards a game. But people said people used to break their ankles trying to tackle him. Whereas some people were power rushers like Jim Brown, Derrick Henry, Larry Zonka. You couldn't touch him. He could stop on a dime and just go all the way around the field. And he had no offensive line if he had a line, forget even Dallas's, if he had a line that was decent, I could put him number 1, but I can't give him credit for something he didn't do. And he retired not because he was over the hill, because he got tired of playing on a losing team. This man is one of the 10 best players, not just 10 best running racks who ever played the game.
Love it, man.
I like that.
You're going to hear him on mine in a minute. All right, man. Who's your number 2?
Well, here's a trivia question. Who is the only running back to ever rush for over 100 yards per game in his career?
It's either Jim Brown or Barry.
Jim Brown.
Which one? It's Jim Brown. For his entire career, 104
That's
yards.
what I thought. Oh man, that's like a Michael Jordan level stat that it's going to be hard to break ever.
Here, this is the thing about this too. He's the only player to average over 100 yards per game, whether it's receiver, tight end, running back,
Pixie,
anything like that.
In a minute, okay?
Yeah, Pixie.
Jeez. I feel bad because I just gotten home. She'll be hanging out after this. We'll hang out with her.
Well, go give your dog some loving.
She'll be fine. She'll be right here the rest of the show. It's okay. We're almost there.
Okay, so Jim Brown. I mean, like you said earlier, I mean, he played in an era where it was the forward pass was pretty much almost non-existent, and you're talking about like 9-10 guys lining up, knowing that Jim Brown is going to get the ball, and only Jim Brown is going to get the ball, and I didn't get to see him, and that is one thing I wish I would have been able to do. This is the one player on my list that I do not have, but I know about him because of what my dad told me. And, when my dad would talk about him, it was like I was there. And, the Paul Browns and the Marion Motley, stuff like that, where he was actually talking about some of these players. Now, I have a lot of respect for the players that my dad talked about, but no one he talked about as highly, and he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so that probably took a lot out of him about Mr. Jim Brown, former Syracuse standout at lacrosse as well, which they said that he was actually a better lacrosse player than football player. So, he was just amazing. He was like a 1950s version of Jim Thorpe and just better. And a lot of people to this day still consider Jim Brown possibly the greatest football player of all time.
Oh, yeah. And rightfully so, because he's just that freaking good. That the 100 yards for I was like, this could be Barry. I know Barry's average is 5, but I don't know what I need to look at his yards.
I know what his average is, so I got that too.
That's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, I like it. My number 2 is Walter Payton, because I as much as I love Jim Brown, I had to go Walter Payton. No, I almost went Walter Payton 1. I really did. Taking bias out, I almost went Walter Payton number 1. I was this close. He got the ring. I just feel like Barry if you gave him what Walter had, just a slightly better line and the defense and a decent quarterback, he would have done even more. And he was really hamstrung by his lack of decent quarterback play. His whole career is bad. And his line, few seasons was solid, but wasn't really that special. Can you imagine Barry with the, but let's talk about Walter. This guy, the triple threat, this man, I think he's the most complete running back ever. The only reason I went Barry number 1 is just pure explosion. But
way to kill the surprise.
Mike said it. I know. Mike said it earlier though. 1,852 rushing yards in only 14 games. That in 77 to win MVP. The guy, I think, has helped Chicago sports in a way like it was pre-Michael Jordan and it carried into when Michael Jordan came. But when you think of Chicago sports, you think of Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. And there's a reason that Bears fans love their team. And it wouldn't have happened, in my opinion, if you didn't have Walter Payton there, because I don't think you would have had the offense to build around. McMahon came in, they instilled the defense. They got Ditka, which was the biggest thing they had to go do is get the right coach. But if Walter hadn't been there and been driving that offense for several years, it wouldn't have happened, Med, in my opinion. And the Bears were great before that. They had the history. But a more recent team that was
modern Super Bowl.
Super dominant that won a Super Bowl, it's because of Walter Payton. And he's got something my number 1 doesn't have, a ring, and he was amazing. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the best 10 players in NFL history. So there you go. I said nice things about a Bear.
Good job. Good job.
And it didn't hurt, actually, because it's Walter Payton. He was awesome. The way his running style was great, man. That's why I think I have such an affinity for LaDainian Tomlinson, because he was Walter Payton-esque. He just didn't have the talent as great as he was. So there you go. Yeah, I killed the suspense, but I'll go last. Mike, who's your number 1?
Jim Brown. And I will explain, this man's accolades were amazing. I want to also add an extra point at the end to how I think he would be today, because people do question that. This man had 3 of his first 4 1,000-yard seasons, including a 1,500-plus season. There were 12 games in the season. He had a 5.2 lifetime average yards per carry. In 1963, he had 1,863 yards with a 6.4 average. He wanted 2,000. He could have had it, but they didn't give the ball enough times. He caught 266 yards for 12,499. And it was all, like Med said, they all centered on him, and he would carry the line with him. Now, when people say, yeah, but that was back then, I think there are 2 players today, and he's one of them, Dan Marino being the other, not because they're the best players of all time, but I think the system's made for them. If you gave him today's training, and I've seen, and he with the dome stadiums, with AstroTurf, he'd have 2,000 yards every season minimum with 6 yards per carry. He is the greatest running back of all time, in my book, one of the 5 best players of all time.
I
love it.
100% agree with that.
Love it. Good take. Matt, what's yours?
You know what? I'll let you go. I'll let you go before me. We both know who it is. So, I mean, you go ahead and do yours.
I almost knocked him because of the running backwards thing. And the fact that he was not great at the goal line. But to get 5 yards per carry in your career with Detroit, he was offensive player of the year, co-MVP, had the 2,000-yard season with 6 yards a carry. He was just under 100 at 99.8, probably because of some of those backward runs. But in his 10 years, he never had less than 1,100 rushing yards. His last year, he almost had 1,500. If the guy had played longer, he would have broke the rushing. He would have broke the all-time rushing record in a heartbeat. I'm shocked he didn't have 100 TDs. He wasn't that dominant at that, but he was a pretty damn good receiver too. Just the most electric player I've ever seen in NFL history. So I had to put him number 1. He's done things. It's like watching Michael Jordan. I just never seen that. Walter Payton's there too, but the way Barry made people miss, it was like a video game. It was stupid. Just ridiculous. So, yep, Barry's my number 1.
So Barry's my number one as well. And as a Bears fan, it was kind of frustrating, but it was poetry in motion. And, when you talk about Jim Brown and Barry, with me, it's basically 1A, 1B. It's like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James conversation, 1B, 1A, 1B. And, you did mention the, 1,100 yards being his lowest he ever had. He averaged 1,500 yards a season. No one else can say that. No one else can also say that every year that they played, they were an all-pro. And this dude, he did it behind a shit offensive line. That's just being honest. And, quick, think about what other offensive weapon played at the same time as he did. And you could only come up with Herman Moore. They never had a quarterback. I mean, they wasted picks on Andre Ware and Scott Kramer. And, it was just the Lions were like the Lion King with just Simba, just the first half. And it was because the rest of the team was just that sorry. Outside their defense was decent, but their offensive line, it was horrible. And I mean, they put draft picks left and right into that offensive line, and it just never worked out for them. But Barry Sanders, amazing. He would dart back and forth, run backwards, like you said. He made highlight films every single game. And yes, he also has the most negative rushing yards, but when you take that into account with the fact that he had over 15,000 yards rushing on a team that I got an argument with, that easily, if he had an offensive line like the Dallas
quarterback,
anything, if he had anything, then he could have probably, I mean, no disrespect to Herman Moore. Herman Moore is probably going to be a Hall of Famer one day, but
yeah, he was awesome. He really was. Yeah. Herman Moore was a really good receiver. I don't know where he falls on an all-time list, but he's a name you should know. He is. Mm-hmm. But man, this guy took them to the NFC Conference Championship. Barry did.
Pretty much on his back. And he never got closer. He never got closer than that season.
Well, the NFC was stacked. You had the 49ers, you had the Cowboys, the Packers came on. Mm-hmm. The NFC was just ridiculous. You had Washington early on in the 90s. They were freaking good. Like the Cowboys had to overcome Washington. That team was legit. The Giants had just been good with Lawrence Taylor too. That NFC East was loaded. Philly's D, they just didn't have an offense, but Philly's D was mean. There was some loaded defenses in the NFC East. Then you had the Packers coming up with Reggie White. It was and you had Steve Young carrying the mantle from Joe Montana with Jerry Rice, Romanowski, and the boys. That 49ers, the 49ers were so good, man.
And they then the salary cap happened.
Yeah, and then look what happened to Jerry Jones's teams then. Yeah. Oh, hey, thank you for Micah. I'll take him torn ACL and all. I will. You can toss us a George Pickens too. I'd be okay with it. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. So, Med, I want you and Mike, you guys pick right now. I had 3 or 4 ideas for you for the next one, okay? I was thinking maybe one in May before I move. Definitely one before the season starts, either July or August. We were thinking we got to do a defensive player one, so pass rushers. You could separate and do corners and safeties, or you could have an inside linebacker one. I think that'd be fun. Another one idea I had on top of those was we could
3 inside linebackers right off the rip.
Exactly. We could do an all decades one where we do top 10 players of the 90s. We could do the 2000s too. We could even exclude Tom Brady if we wanted to and just take him off our list and say who's the next 10 best players.
You can't take off the though.
Just say Brady's. We all just say Brady's one, and then we do our next 10. The 90s is harder because who is it going to be?
I like the 90s.
I think the 90s would be a fun decade to start with. We could do some other decades. The 2000s are fun. The 80s would be fun. The 70s would be fun. The 60s, we could do the 2010s. We could do this decade in a couple years once it's close to over.
I have an idea.
What you got?
Let's do a 1990s mock draft, and we put it on the results on y'all's Twitter.
And we pick our team.
And we'll let people vote on what team is the best.
Meg, are you down? So all you got to do is think
Yeah,
about the player you like. We don't have to like have a scoring
gonna kill
system.
us.
Yeah. Yes. 90s. So it just like fantasy though, once somebody takes Jerry Rice, he's gone. Once somebody takes Barry, he's gone. We'll randomize the order. We'll do snake. So if I go first, then Med, and then Mike goes twice, then Med, and then I go twice.
I'm game for that.
That's a freaking good idea. We'll figure it out in email how we want to do it, but I say we have, since there's only 3 of us, we should do 2 quarterbacks, I think.
Here's an idea. Justin, seeing you talking about me being a genius, and
you should join us.
Always a good way to get on a show when you give the co-host a shining endorsement. Would you like to join us
for that show?
This mock draft of the 1990s?
That I love it.
Tight ends is the hardest because the era is going to be changed so much. Because the Mackeys, the Ditkas, the Winslows, they didn't throw as much then as to the Gronks, the Kelseys, and the Gonzalez's.
It is. It's hard, like, because like a Ditka, a Kellen Winslow, there's so many older guys that deserve love to be on that list. That's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
We could almost split it, and I don't know though. Yeah, the tight ends one is going to be the hardest one. That's why I don't want to do that one next. I need some more time on that one, and we need to do a defensive one or a 90s one and mix it up. So Justin, send me a message. I like it. All right, this was a lot of fun, everybody. Mike, this was great. We're going to do it again. We love having you on. These lists are a lot of fun. He says he's in, so we're going to have a 4-person mock. Okay, coming up in the future, me and Matt are going to have some actual mock drafts. We will have our 3rd annual. Mike, this is a lot of fun. We do it the Sunday before the NFL draft. We do how many guys is it? 9? Hold on one second.
It's about 9.
Stop. It's enough. I can hear you over the mic. Let it go.
Please. Yes. Don't hit me.
You dropped your ears. Sorry, my dog is like complaining. It's getting annoying.
Doesn't hit his dog, blazing.
No, I do not. I yell when she's really annoying me.
Cracking a joke, right?
Yes, do not do that. Anyways, we do our annual mock draft before the NFL draft, and then that's our last big blowout show for the NFL draft. We'll be covering it live, and in the meantime, we'll have some mock drafts. And Med has his first episode of Nerdcadia. Oof. What is the date, Med?
March 7th. Not a complete time yet because it will be recorded, but I would probably say in the morning. Yeah, we're going to drop it in the morning. I think it's on a Saturday. Be talking about a lot of nerdiest stuff. So, talking about video games, weird ones that are out there right now that we were actually putting way too much time into thinking about it. You like Jesus State Simulator? I found one. So just come and check it out. He has risen. You're Jesus. So there you go.
You gotta text me. You gotta remind me that I'm actually gonna be in Arizona then, but I want to watch it. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then me and Matt will be doing our mock draft rival series. I think that's fun. We'll probably bring it back very soon. Yep, absolutely. We since our teams continue to not win Super Bowls, we're gonna have fun with these mock drafts.
Mock draft season.
Yep, mock draft season. Thank you, Fosters, in the comments. Moses, Justin, if hamming it up for Med. He's gonna love that every time. Every time. Pitchker, thank you for watching. Janae, my dad, Peter watching in the comments. There's a lot of people. Mr. First Down, appreciate you guys. Mike, we'll have you back on soon. Everybody, thank you for watching. And please go subscribe to Nerdcadia and Fun Football Podcast. And I'll see you guys Monday night on Twitter for Spaces. See you guys soon.